I go where I am known. I go where I'm not an illusion. Where I go, I've noticed. Everybody goes there. Everybody goes there.
Hello and welcome to Around Town TV. My name is Carla Berline. And if you're somebody who either has or you know somebody who has breast cancer or metastatic breast cancer, you're going to want to watch this show. And if you're like me and you've ever reached out to somebody that has cancer and said, "What can I do to help?" Trust me, you're going to want to tune in because we are all going to share with you tonight a way that you can make a significant impact. And here to not only share their stories, but talk about an event coming up and many other things tonight are two very special guests. Both are metastatic breast cancer warriors. Please welcome Jacqueline Vranikar from Vranikar and please welcome Amy Brace from the Pink Power Foundation. Thank you both for being with me tonight.
Hi, Carla. Thank you.
I'm actually stage 1, so I am a survivor.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, just a survivor.
Yeah. Just a survivor.
Yeah. No.
Yep.
Thank you for correcting me, though. But
Of course.
yeah. That. I know you have quite a story yourself.
Yeah.
Before we get into the story and the event, I want to make sure that for all of you tuning in, that any of the links like above that we're going to be talking about tonight, they're above this video wherever you're watching this live. So whether it's the event or how you can support or to learn more information, just click on any of those links. To the both of you, as we get into the show, before we do talk about your stories, you've got a very important event coming up next week called Emerge. And I know I've been saying it's more than a fashion show. For those who are not familiar, I know it's Emerge, Warrior and the Woman, correct? That's what it's called?
Yes.
What is it? And let's talk about the details.
Okay, yeah, it is much more than a fashion show. Really, I think that's how it started. And as we went back and forth talking about what we saw for this, the idea of being able to show both sides of a woman who has gone through, who is living with breast cancer, and the toughness of that and the grit that it takes to do that. And then also not forgetting that we still are feminine women who do lose a lot of that along the way, and trying to figure out what that looks like in all of this.
And what about you, Amy? What are your sharing some of about the event and the whys? And
Apparently I'm very in my emotions today. Sorry.
No, I did before we got on, you guys. I had a good cry. Yeah.
It's just Jackie and I have done so much together in the short time that we've known each other.
Yeah.
And to be able to do an event like this by her side with 17 other models that are all breast cancer survivors and thrivers is just truly magical, and showing people that even though you're going through breast cancer, there are many things that you don't choose to happen.
Yeah.
Like doctors will tell you which chemo that you're supposed to do or which surgeries that they recommend and things like that. And they sound like choices, but they're, I compare it a lot of times to like a bathroom remodel where you have all these high expectations. You're going to go to the bathroom, you're going to do the walls, you're going to do a new vanity or something like that. And then the plumbing breaks and there's black mold behind your vanity, and there's tile that you have to patch up and things like that. So you never know what's going to happen when you're going through something so profound and so hard. So for me, I tried all the normal routes. I tried for reconstruction, and my body just completely rejected it. So now I'm flat chested. And once my cancer is hormone positive, And so once and they don't want any hormones in your body because they don't want anything to feed your cancer. And
Mhm.
so they put you on hormone blockers. And the only thing they really said was, this is going to push you into menopause and we'll see how it goes. And it's not gradual menopause. So you don't really get perimenopause. You don't get the years of, I don't know, getting used to it,
Right.
and I don't have the option of hormone replacement because that's not how that works.
Because that feeds cancer too,
Because that
correct?
feeds cancer, yeah. And so once I got put into menopause, my hair started falling out again. And
Oh.
I developed something called androgenetic alopecia, which
Oh.
means my hair will never grow back. And so, and that's hard for other people to look at, and not see me as somebody that's in active treatment, because I'm
Oh.
almost 3 years post, well, 2.5 years post my last chemo.
Mhm.
And people give me still like the sad eyes, like, I'm sorry for you, or I pity you because you must be going through something hard. It's like, I am going through something hard, but it's not what you think. It's getting
Wow.
used to this new body that I didn't choose,
Right.
and having people and knowing people that are looking at me and judging me for that, and saying, oh, she must choose to be bald, or she must choose to be flat
Right.
chested. And it's like, yes, I chose that, but not because I wanted to.
Right.
And so getting used to kind of the mental gymnastics, really, of going from acceptance to grief to just all the stages of grief, really. You're
Mhm.
angry, or you're,
Mhm.
I don't know. And I'm very much a people pleaser. So seeing people's eyes look at me that way, I can tell. I'm
Yes.
also
Yes.
empathetic. So I can look at people and be like, oh, you're having a hard day, or I'm having a hard day. And
Right.
I really respond to people's energy that way. It's just a positive energy or whatever. And so even though I'm past active treatment, it's still been really, really hard. And being
Mhm.
able to walk down the runway amongst all these women who have been through such hard times in their life, whether it's
Mhm.
they're done with treatment or whether they're still going through chemo every day, like Jackie.
Right.
And it's just an honor walking into a group of women that just get it. I love that. It's
And
truly inspiring, and yeah, makes me all teary eyed.
well, yes, and then oh my gosh, I have not obviously been through what you and both Jackie have been through. Most people close to me, somebody did a caring, they hit the care button. Thank you to
Oh,
who did that. We'll be able to
Oh,
see after, and we've got quite a few people online. Most people who have followed my 24 years of Around Town TV Live know that my folks were involved a lot, and my late mother was a 27.5 year survivor of breast cancer and a metastatic breast cancer, bone cancer, um, warrior for 12 years and 2 months. And we'll get into a little bit about that later. But that's the only understanding I have is I was her caregiver with my dad. So I
yeah,
watched the motions of what you just shared. Thank you
yeah,
for sharing
yeah,
that. And I remember. And
yeah.
but I wasn't the one going through it.
But it's also not a competition of whose grief is worse, or whose,
Right.
um, because you've lost both your parents.
Mhm.
And that's a whole nother level of, tragic events in your life, and understanding that walking around, people are going through a lot.
They
And
are.
I'm not going to diminish something that you're going through, because maybe it was easy for me, but something that's easy for me won't be easy for somebody else. And something that's easy for somebody else may be really, really hard for me. It's
Right.
like, well,
Even
this
at your
simple task is like, well, but that was really hard for me. We don't have the same skill set. We don't have the same mental
Mhm.
capacity. And so just meeting people where they are
Yeah.
is what I've been trying to do and be much more mindful of the last few years, is just, you're having a hard time. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll sit with you.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And one thing that so many people don't understand, and I know you both do, is and you both know people in your each of your stages and the types of cancer. it's not even those people, it's a different journey. Everyone's journey is so unique, and
Yes.
which I am so grateful for you doing and putting on, and we'll get into the various things, but this Emerge event that's coming up next week, you guys, it's really important as you hear these raw stories and emotions that you support this next week at the Hutton House. Jackie, do you want to talk a little bit about just the times and stuff? And
Yeah.
then,
Yeah. And the warrior pieces.
Yeah. So tickets are still on sale. You can go to veranacure.org.
Yes.
And yes, and get tickets at veranacure.org under events. Also on Instagram, Facebook, find us on there, and we have the tickets linked there. But next Thursday at the Hutton House, 6 p.m., there are vendors and drinks and light bites, and we really want you to come experience this because it's not unlike other fashion shows where each piece that we will be wearing has been made specially for us by Suzanne Kassler of Hi Creative. And they are beautiful pieces that reflect our breast cancer experiences. For instance, I'm wearing a gold corset belt, and part of it will be cut out where my liver resection, that scar is. And so really asking each woman, what do you feel or see, or how do you wear breast cancer almost? And then those will be representative in our pieces. So it's a really different event. Lane Palm is the mastermind behind the beauty that you will see that night in the form of decor. And decor is not even the right word. It's like magic that Lane produces. It is, her vision is just the next level. So, and all the proceeds will be going to fund metastatic breast cancer research. And so if you can't make it, you can still donate, or you can pay it forward with a ticket, and we will gift it to a woman who has breast cancer. So that's another way that you can help too.
Well, and why this is so important, an event like this, is because what many of you watching probably don't realize is, well, there are a lot of cancer fundraisers, even breast cancer fundraisers. Not all of the money goes to, a lot of times they'll say it goes to X, Y, and Z, but rarely do you see an organization like Veranacure and the Pink Power Foundation where this actual event Emerge, all of the proceeds go towards cancer research, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, and life-saving cancer research. I mean, this is the only research we will fund is research that is promising to save women's lives. And right now it's TIL therapy at the University of Minnesota. And in fact, tomorrow we have the ribbon cutting to ceremoniously open the lab to take this research into the next phase. And it's very exciting. It's very promising, but there's still there's a huge gap in the money we still have to raise for this. So that's all the money, that's where it'll be going.
Well, and the advocacy of the research, this will help with continued advocacy for women navigating diagnosis, treatment, and recovery. So it's the gamut. And explain, Jackie, to people that are watching. I know you've shared with me offline, and of course I've learned from you that not a lot of funding goes towards research, especially metastatic breast cancer.
Right after I was diagnosed, I did a deep dive into how could this possibly be happening. I thought I was diagnosed at 38, and I thought that our grandmothers got breast cancer and died from it. I thought that if your mother or grandmother had breast cancer, that's when you were diagnosed with it. And I learned that hereditary breast cancer only counts for about 8 to 10%. And it is a significant amount. But I was under the assumption that it was the majority of cancer cases. And metastatic breast cancer receives under 10% of breast cancer research funding. It's the only deadly form of the disease. And when early stage breast cancer recurs years or decades later, it's metastatic breast cancer, and that's when it's deadly. And even after you've completed treatment, unfortunately, the risk of recurrence is great. 30% is not something to ignore. And so we feel as if at least 30% of breast cancer research funding should be going towards metastatic breast cancer research, if not more. I mean,
Right.
until women stop dying from it.
Because it really
Agree.
feels like it
Go
will
ahead.
help everybody. I mean, the more
Mhm.
research that we
Yes.
can do into the disease will
Every
help everybody with the disease. And I
Absolutely.
think
yes.
one
Yes.
of my favorite parts of the fashion show itself is it's all real women. And
Mhm.
it's all of us in our own separate journeys. And originally it was, or I think we have 19 women.
Wow.
And it's not professional models. It's
Mhm.
people who feel just this inner, I don't know how to say it. I have chemo
Yeah.
brain and I can't always find my words.
Professional
But
But I
cancer
think
warrior.
they all want to be seen, right? For
yeah,
where
yeah,
they are right now.
yeah.
Yes, because it is
And
not the same
whether
as we were before.
and whether they're necessarily confident about it or not, they want
Mhm.
their story told.
Yes.
And through
Mhm.
this, because we've been planning this for 6 months, four
Oh,
months.
wow.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah. And so from the beginning, it's so many people reached out and they're like, I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of it,
Mhm.
which just shows how desperate we are to get other people to understand that it's not easy. It's not
Mhm.
Mhm.
just breast cancer. And because it's so just rampant in today's culture
Yes.
and women,
Yeah.
it makes it sound like it's easy. It's like, well, so many
Mhm.
people have it, it must be easy.
Yeah. No.
And I I mean, obviously from my experience, I can tell you it's anything but easy. I had
Mhm.
6 rounds of very toxic chemotherapy, 25 rounds of radiation. I know Jackie had more. And then 12 rounds of something called Kadcyla. I had 10 surgeries in 3 years, including having a total hysterectomy, having my breasts amputated, and it's just none of it is easy. And when people hear, "Oh, you're stage 1, it must not be that bad."
Right.
I'm going,
Mhm.
"Well, 10 surgeries in 3 years,
That's
that's pretty
bad.
bad in my book."
That's why
Mhm.
when you said
Mhm.
that, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
because
I know.
right. I'm like,
I know. But that's
what is
something we talk about on our podcast, the Pink Power Hour,
Mhm.
is so my partner Jenna,
Yep.
she has metastatic breast cancer and hers went to her brain.
Oh,
And
boy.
so she had a big tumor in her left chest, and then she had a 4 centimeter tumor in her brain that she had removed. And so one of the first couple episodes, one was about her and one was about me. And she's like, well, I just had the one brain tumor. And I'm going, yep, just the one brain tumor. So it could be worse, right?
Oh,
We play
gosh.
that game a lot with
I
this. Yes.
How did
Mhm.
you 2 meet?
know.
Tinder. I
I
always
love
try to bring levity, you guys. When it gets too
well,
heavy, you can count on me to just like bring it down a
right.
notch.
Yeah,
I
I was
love
gonna say
that
I don't
about
even
you.
know which way to swipe. Is it left or is
Me
it right?
either.
I'm the one who should, being the single girl, and I don't. And speaking of, I have to before we get into that, I have to share. So Jackie is very transparent on all her Instagram stuff. In fact, if I need an uplifting whatever, I will watch it because you're like, yep, normal. She's just, even with cancer, metastatic cancer, she has kids and a husband and, very busy, active. But recently, this poor Jackie, her dog has had a tummy ache and it's had the squirts. And her poor little son takes it to the park. And this lady is upset that she wasn't able to clean up the squirts. And I wanted to yell like through the camera to you, like to the lady, be happy that's the only problem you have to worry about. Like,
Yeah,
do you
So
yeah,
realize
many,
what this
so
woman
many of my friends said, yes, play the
yeah,
cancer card with her.
yeah,
yeah,
right, right.
like, be happy you're only worried about my
Yes.
dog's squirts because
That
I have metastatic
yes.
cancer.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It is very true though. Like your perspective on things, like you let so much roll off your back when you have bigger issues. I
Yeah.
yeah,
mean, it's
yeah.
just and I do like to point out though that this I loved life before. This is not it's not like all of a sudden I love life.
Yeah.
I loved life before. Now it's I definitely do um take it a little more less serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get less serious.
And
Yeah.
learning that, I mean, I've read so many things about grief and how it affects your life. And people think like, well, you grieve and then you get over it and then you move on with your life.
Mm-mm.
And there's so many things as a breast cancer person that you grieve. It's the person that you were, it's how you used to look before. And one of my daughter's favorite things is to look at old pictures.
Mm.
And whenever I look over, it's just like, oh man, what a fun mom that one was, you know? And we also had a podcast episode with one of Jenna's kids and then my daughter.
Yeah.
And we asked them what we were like before cancer and what changed after cancer. And I was definitely not ready for the answers that they gave. And so it's helped me be more mindful of just creating those special moments together, knowing that maybe I don't have the same energy. Maybe I don't have the same joie de vivre that I used to, but
I don't know about that.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
I was
I'm
going to say
trying,
something
and I
tells
think
me.
just being so
Yeah.
poignant about it and being like, you know, let's go to a Twins game today. My husband, like a half hour before the Twins game, he goes, you want to go to a Twins game? I was like, yep.
Oh, I
Which
love it.
I'm not great at spontaneous, and they are. And just finding those moments that you can really, and even in the simple stuff at home, watching
Yeah.
them putter around the kitchen or just be in their room, it's like, I get to experience you in this life, and I love that. And I don't know how much time, like Jackie said, 30% chance that I'll get breast cancer to come back again. And I do have a genetic mutation that causes breast cancer and colon cancer and prostate cancer. So my prostate's fine. Don't worry about me.
Well, and I was
But the
going to
other
say,
two, it's like,
who
who knows?
Well,
Who
and
knows?
being that you both have husbands, I'm guessing you really didn't meet on Tinder.
No, we didn't.
Oh, we should actually tell the story.
What's that?
Like usual, I was looking for something free for cancer. And so I contacted Amy at Amy's Cupcake Shop, and I said, hey, I have this little nonprofit, and would you make us a cupcake? And so we could raise some money. And of course, she said yes, and made us beautiful cupcakes with the Branicure heart on top. And then unfortunately, a year later,
I came out with my diagnosis. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you didn't have it then?
No.
Wow.
So she reached out in, I think, February or March of 2021. And she's like, can I be, because we did a monthly donation cupcake at Amy's Cupcake Shop. And then it was $1 per cupcake would go to the charity. And we'd let them pick a flavor, or we'd pick kind of our most popular because we wanted it to do well. And so I think she reached out in February or March, and she's like, can I be your October one? And I'm going, yes. We're definitely not planning that far ahead at that point. But yeah, and then a year later, in October of 22, I was diagnosed. And I was like, okay, I can either be loud about my diagnosis and use the community that we created with the shop to amplify it and make sure other people know that they're not alone.
Right.
Or I can keep it to myself. And I was like, I'm going to go through so much, I know, in the next year. It's only 1 year of your life, right, Jackie?
Yeah. Yep.
And I was like, nope, I'm going to be loud about it. I'm going to let people know that this is really hard, and just be honest and true through my journey, and show the hair loss, show the moments that I found strength. And I mean, my daughter came with me to chemo. I always had friends with me at chemo, and we would get the door closed on us because we were laughing too hard. And so even the smallest of communities can make you feel better when you're going through something so terrible. And so when Jackie was like, yeah, I'll be there for you, I know what you're going through, she helped me through so much of the beginning of my journey, knowing what was next, because our diagnoses are the same, or the signifiers are the same. We're both triple positive.
Okay.
Yep.
And so, and then when I was getting ready to do my double mastectomy, I had a Vranicare package show up on my door, and it had everything I didn't know I needed. And I had literally like just donated to her Vranicare, because they are, should tell them what they are, Jackie.
Yeah,
Care packages.
which is perfect timing because we just ran out of surgical totes because the demand has gone up significantly because more people know, but also because more people are being diagnosed. And so what they are care packages, and they're either a surgery care package for a woman facing a breast cancer surgery or a treatment care package for a woman going through breast cancer treatment. And they are free. We love and accept all donations because they're not inexpensive, and that's on purpose because we want it to be quality items. Every gift that we get as breast cancer patients, we love gifts, right? Give us the gifts, but we have so many blankets and candles that we get. And so I wanted these fuzzy socks. I wanted these care packages to be useful and quality items and things that they could use and take with them after if they chose. And so there's a notebook in there that some women take to appointments, other women journal about their experience. There's a water bottle, there's electrolytes, mastectomy pillow, seatbelt pillow, the whole thing. And so you can just go to the website and request one, and it's sent to your person. And the Randy Shaver Foundation has generously helped fund some of those, but we go through them very quickly. And so we're always looking for assistance in making those happen. I never want to turn anyone away that comes and looks for one.
Right.
I love that. And if you saw me looking around, we got a note that said it was that we're having trouble streaming to Facebook. But when I went to Facebook, we're streaming. So, and no one has said this may be an issue on Facebook's end. Is it possible the stream was ended or deleted? We'll keep trying and let you know. But when I go there, it looks like we're out there live.
Oh,
so,
all right.
Yep.
Okay.
And we're recording this too. So if there was, but yeah, it looks like we're live. So I'm just, Anyway.
Hopefully they can come back or watch it later.
No. And we've got people online. So anyway.
Awesome.
But I rudely interrupted what you were saying. My apologies.
I have 4 kids. I'm always interrupted. It's fine.
So when I got Jackie's care package at my house, one of the things that helped me the most was a robe that was in there. And after a double mastectomy, you have drains that are like sticking out of your body, one on each side typically. And the robe has pockets for your drains. And that seems like a small thing, but there's literally nowhere else to attach them on your body. And you have to, it's called stripping the drain. So you have to get all the liquid out and you have to collect it in a specific way and measure it and all these things. And so and they hurt because they're tubes coming out of your body. And so having something hold them so the tubes aren't like being yanked on or being tugged at I wore that thing like every day. And my drains were in for a little over a month. They're supposed to be in for 2 weeks, but mine were in for a little over a month because I would not stop making fluid. So
wow. You were jinxed a little bit there.
I did, and then when the drains did come out, my body still kept making fluid because they didn't like the expanders that were in there. So when you have reconstruction, you can either go direct to implant or you have these expanders, which are like hard. They're awful. Yeah. And they fill them up with saline like every week or 2 weeks, depending on how your skin is doing. And it stretches the skin. And then at the end, you have an implant exchange. So you take out the expanders and you put in implants. Oh, and my body just hated the expanders. And I had to be drained 9 more times, even after the drains were out.
Oh my gosh.
And I was going through radiation, and my surgeon, he's like, well, I can't poke the skin if it's getting too infected or too tender or whatever from radiation. So we might have to stop doing this. I was like, but I'm going to still make fluid. So what are we going to do? And he's like, well, we'll just figure it out after. And I'm like, okay.
Gosh.
And it's just so different for everybody. And it's
right.
Just expectations are, you're never able to manage expectations because it's different for everybody.
Yes.
Well, and do you still have, I know before I was dealing with this technical thing, you were talking about, Amy's Cupcake Shop. You still are running Amy's Cupcake Shop?
Nope. Actually, I sold it June 1st, Angel Food Bakery took it over.
Oh, okay.
I just, after getting it through COVID and after having a breast cancer diagnosis, I needed a break.
Absolutely. Well,
So.
yeah. So with that, she has the Pink Power Hour podcast that we're going to talk about, and the Pink Power Foundation grants. So,
Right.
do you want to share a little bit where? Yeah. So she traded one in for two.
Yeah.
While
And
she
we
has
did a
cancer.
documentary last year, and we did.
Yeah, and we'll get into that too. But I'd love for
Yeah.
you to share what both of those are.
Yeah.
Yep.
So through the documentary that Jackie and I did last year, we had our filming day in April. It was almost 1 year ago. Was it 1 year ago, 2 days ago? And then we had a big viewing event in Hopkins at the Stages Theater on August something.
It was
9th.
I don't know. August anyway,
Yeah.
last year.
Yep.
And one of the other women in the documentary is Jenna. And so her and I really connected. I have a medical background, so I did CT scans for 10 years at the U of M hospital.
wow.
And so the first day that I met her, she's like, "Oh, I'm the one with the brain tumor." And of course, just knee-jerk reaction. I was like, "Oh," and she's like, "Don't do that."
Oh,
And I was like, "Well, what do you want me to do? I'm sad that you had a brain tumor. Like it's
right.
not great. I'm not going to laugh at you. I don't know you yet." And she goes, "Do you want to feel my brain?" And I was like, "Yes, I absolutely would do." So she had a metal plate stuck in the back of her head from her brain surgery, and you can feel it. So she let me poke in there and feel it. And I'm like, "We're going to be best friends. I already know." And so she calls herself a household engineer. Because after her brain tumor, she wasn't able to go back to work the way that she was before.
Mm-hmm.
And so both of us had a lot of time on our hands, and we texted a lot. And she goes, "I just feel like I'm meant to do something more, but I don't know what that means. And maybe would you write a book with me?"
Oh,
And I
wow.
go, "No, I don't want to do that at all.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about writing a book. That sounds very daunting to me. I'm not much of a linguist." And I said, "But we like talking. Maybe we could do a podcast." And she goes, "I don't know anything about a podcast." I was like, "Well, we don't know anything about writing a book, so why not try?" And so we got all the equipment. She had a room in her house that we actually transformed into our podcast room. And we picked the name Pink Power Hour because we both, happy hour is very important in our family.
Okay.
And very important in her family. And we just wanted to trying to take pink back. There's so much pink washing and things like that. And she loves pink. I'm not super pink girl, but I'm getting there.
I
And
yeah.
and so seeing kind of this podcast come to life. And after we released the first episode, which was her episode, the first one is her story, the second one is my story. And we've had her oncologist, we've had a physical therapist, we've had a physician's assistant, we've had other thrivers. Jackie's been on there. Other survivors, thrivers, just telling their stories and showing kind of the humor side of it also, in that it's so hard that it's just funny sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just, this is ridiculous. Like, you have a hole in your head and I have no hair and no boobs and whatever.
Yeah.
And so we really try to find the humor in a lot of things. And so a lot of our podcast is laughing. And so we have now, I think we just launched just came out with our 22nd episode. And we have 30 planned for this season. And after the first one, she's like, we had originally planned once a month. And she goes, "Well, what about just every other week?" And I was like, "Sure." Because I'm doing the technical side and she's doing kind of the other side of it. And then after the first episode launched, both of us are like, "Could we do this every week?" "Yeah, I think we could."
Right.
"Okay, perfect." And so we record all the it's so fun and it's so healing just getting to say so many things out loud. And so it's healing for us, it's healing for people who are listening. We have over 4,300 listeners already. and we're in 34 different countries and have over 5,000 downloads already, which is a download is a listen. So they just call it a download just for metrics. But and our first episode went live November 12th of
Wow.
last year.
Okay.
So
And
it
you,
just goes to show this is so needed. And whether people want to be verbal about their journey or not, it's also important to know that you're not alone.
I was just going to say, yes,
Yeah.
that is the
And
most
even though,
important.
and it's such a lonely journey, and even though you can be surrounded by people, you still feel alone.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
unless you're with somebody who is a survivor or a thriver, they just don't get it in the same
Mhm.
way.
No.
I mean, they can be empathetic and all those things, and they can do things for you, but it's hard to understand what
Yeah.
somebody is truly going through unless you've been through it, like you were saying.
When we have
And
dinner, the stage 4 ladies, when we have
yeah,
dinner, the last dinner, it was someone's birthday, and so we had written on the cake, "Not dead yet." Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have,
So anyway, just to say, no one gets it except a lady, a group
Yeah.
of ladies, all deadly
And you can
disease.
find that humor in it where
Yeah.
you know that you understand.
Mhm.
well, I have to share because you guys do like humor. So,
Yeah.
my mom and dad lived really close to where Jackie lives right now in Chaska.
Mhm.
Oh,
And when I first sold my house to move in to help, mom and I would go over to a nail salon over there and it was a Vietnamese nail salon and get our nails and toes done. And then sometimes, mom was still able to drive and stuff then. So she would drive. And one time I went in by myself and in their accent, and they're so sweet. The gal goes, "Hi, Carla. Your mommy not die yet." So I went home and I said, "Hi, mama, you not die yet." And that was our inside joke. Thank
yeah.
God we could laugh. And to some people,
Yes.
you can't. But,
Right.
and she was sweet and she meant it
Oh
as,
yes,
Yeah.
she
yeah,
did. Yes. Yep.
yep.
Oh,
Your
I
mommy
Oh
love
my
not
that.
die yet.
goodness.
Yeah. And
Oh,
it's hard too, because one day you can laugh about it, the next day you'll just
Yes.
spiral into a hole and cry.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I can't even imagine, only from a
yeah,
caregiver and a daughter of my
yeah,
best friend.
right.
Well, and so the Pink Power Hour obviously podcast has been very successful, but you have a
Yep.
foundation with
Yep.
grants. Talk
Yep.
about that too.
So after we um so because Jackie and I have done so many amazing events together, um Jenna was like, I love Jackie's mission and we always support her things, but I want to give money to people in active treatment right now.
Mm,
That so I mean, in general, supporting breast cancer women. And so our goal is to give meaningful grants. So, I mean, I love it when people do gift cards and things like that, but like a significant amount where they can either pay off a bill or they could go on a
Pay their
mini
rent.
vacation,
Mhm. Mortgage.
whatever they want to do. And so we don't tell them it has to go to a bill or it has to go to this. It's if for their mental health they need a little vacation or some time away, do that. I
Mhm.
love that because you need to take care of yourself too. And not just your physical self, but your heart and your soul and your mind, and that's what gets you through is having that
Mhm.
mental strength and having that capacity to step back and say, okay, I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to go on vacation. It's going to bring me joy. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to have fun like I don't have cancer. And that is what we focus on. And so Jenna's like, oh, we could do this event or this event. And we're going, okay, if we're going to do events, then we need to have a nonprofit. Like this is the next logical step. So we
Mhm.
created Pink Power Foundation. And so now we're setting up all these little committees like fundraising committee and events and just also creating this group of women that also care and understand how hard it is, whether they've been through it or not. They've seen it or they get it, you know? And so, and then we also wrote a children's book called Love Stays. And the kind of theme throughout the book is it's from the perspective of a mom with metastatic breast cancer from her kids. And so they kind of watch her lose her hair, and they watch her go to all these appointments, and watch her be more forgetful, and watch her kind of change in this way. But throughout the book, it says, but her love stays. Like, she still remembers our favorite cereal. She lost her hair. It went on vacation. And there's just like little silly quips of little kids, and we have, and they have a dog, Rex, which is based off my dog, who I had for 16 years, or 15 years. He was 16 years old. And he passed away when I was going through chemo. And
Oh,
he was my cuddle buddy. He would just lay on my chest, and I would smell his little Frito feet, and he would just feeling his heartbeat and that warmth of having a dog. And so my daughter would cuddle with my husband, and the dog would cuddle with me. And then, a couple weeks before my last chemo, he passed away. So
wow.
that was really hard. But and Jenna did cold capping, so she didn't lose her hair, but I did lose my hair. So it's kind of a beautiful mix of both of our stories. And my daughter and her 2 kids helped write it.
Wow.
And so we're hoping to launch that, or we have a book launch set for May 28th. We're hoping to have a big party. We're not sure where yet, but it'll be somewhere. And just get the book into hands of people that need it, kids that need it, and and parents that need it. Because Jenna reads it to her kids almost every night.
Wow.
And they're just like, oh, it's silly because I wrote that, or I came up with that. And
They're a part of it.
yeah, it's really beautiful. So starting the foundation has just kind of launched us into this whole new realm of things that we can do. And so we did end up writing a book together, but not a chapter book, just a kid's book. So much easier.
Oh, absolutely. And, they always say when a person gets cancer, the whole family does. And, I know we've talked about Amy's story, but Jackie, or Jacqueline, I should say, I call her Jackie, if you would mind sharing your story, or you were young when it happened. It's quite a story. And
Oh, and I thought I was young, and I was young, but there are so many women who are getting it younger, and that's like we were talking about. It's the diagnosis are on the rise, but I was 38 and went for my annual exam, and I felt off, and my doctor said, "Well, let's just put your mind at ease. Let's test your thyroid. I'll send you for an early mammogram." Found my tumor, and was initially diagnosed with stage 2. Spoiler alert, was not stage 2. So I couldn't feel the lump. I never, even if, after knowing it was there, I couldn't feel it. And so I wonder what would have brought me in if I hadn't felt that intuition. What would have eventually led me to go? But thankfully, I had a doctor that listened to me, and I did chemotherapy and the double mastectomy. I did a liver resection, and we thought that what was in my liver was a benign mass of some kind. We did not know that it was metastatic at that point. And then once they did the pathology for my liver, I got the call saying, your ovaries are fine, because I did an oophorectomy to try to get rid of my hormones that way. And but I do need to tell you that it was cancer in your liver. And I hung up and I said, okay, thanks, bye. Because I didn't know. I did not know. No one had prepared me for what that meant.
Oh, wow.
I did not know that it would mean that I had stage 4 cancer. I didn't know what stage 4 cancer meant. Because again, I didn't think that was a possibility. And then my walking to the bus, and my oncologist called me just shortly after that, because you get your MyChart alerts first. They have to call the patient first. The patient knows first. And my doctor, knew at the same
And it
time.
wasn't always like that. I don't mean to interrupt. It
No.
used to be when my mom was with us that the oncologist would have to get it first.
Yeah.
And I used to have to say, please just release it, because she can't take it. But anyway,
Can't
go ahead.
stand waiting.
Yeah.
No.
And so when she called me, she said, Jackie, this does change your prognosis. And she said, I don't know, 5, 7, maybe 10 years. And I said, for what? And, so that, the life expectancy, the 5-year survival is about 22% after you're diagnosed with this. And so I have made it past that. I have no evidence of disease. Yes, I've surgically removed all my cancer. We can't detect any, but I take chemo in pill form twice a day, and I also take a hormone blocker. It's funny, the things that, again, you're like, just a brain tumor. And then so after we realized it was metastatic, they said, well, you can do radiation if you want. It's a 50-50. It'll do any good for you since it's already left that original tumor. And I said, well, I'll take the odds of 50-50.
Right.
So I did radiation just for the heck of it to see if it was going to do anything for me.
You have nothing better to do, right?
I know. I'm like, let's just kick off summer with some radiation. And so, I'm glad that I did it. Will I ever know if it did any good? I don't know. But it did 29 rounds of radiation. And for me, I did not have, some people get horrible burns. I did not have that. I had a little bit of red on my back. I did experience capsular contracture because of radiation.
What is that?
So I'd started reconstruction. I had the expanders. The radiation destroyed all the tissue in this left quadrant. And so that tissue continues to contract around the implant or around the expander. And so I did have the implants swapped out, but the tissue continued to contract. And so the skin was getting very thin. And so we had to swap that implant out. I did lat flap surgery where they take the lat muscle in your back and they keep it attached to your back to keep the blood supply. And then they pull it around to your front and attach it here. So my back muscle is my front now. It's my chest muscle, is my chest, because then it's fresh, non-radiated tissue. And so they put the implant behind that then. So it would.
That had to hurt.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Her bruising was impressive, let me tell you.
But again, it's like you go through so much laughing about it because it seems insane that my lat muscle is attached across my front. If someone would have told me, I go back and tell myself when I was first diagnosed all these things that I was going to go through, I never would imagine that I could go through it. It's just mind-boggling. The things that
when they're going through all of your treatment at the beginning, like we're going to do this, and this. If you look at it that way, it's too much.
Yes.
It's like, no,
much.
I just need to get through this week. And then don't tell me those things yet.
And so like words of encouragement or advice that I often will tell a woman who's newly diagnosed is, yes, it is wonderful to have a plan in place, but that plan is going to change. And so you need to be ready to be flexible because like you said, you don't get to choose a lot of this. And so just going with it sometimes you feel so out of control, but you have to just settle in and get through it because there isn't another choice.
Right.
Yeah. And so anyway, I've been living with this for 5.5 years. And I remember when I couldn't even mouth the words metastatic breast cancer because it is a very scary, very deadly disease. And I have lost so many friends in the last 5.5 years, watch them die. And it happens every day. 120 women die from breast cancer every single day. Young women, old women. I mean, it is, we should be further along from this disease than we are. And it is really a disgrace that we aren't.
Agreed.
So as long as I am able, I, again, like Amy, will be loud about this because there are women who can't do this. And so we are doing it for them.
And the current statistic is 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. And then 1 in 3 of those women will have a recurrence to metastatic breast cancer. So even being in a room with 8 of your girlfriends is even just having that mental shift of one of us is going to get breast cancer.
Yeah, and this isn't meant to scare anyone. Like,
No.
honestly,
No.
I feel like education is power. And if you know
Knowledge
about
is
this,
power.
you go to your doctor and I feel something isn't right. And if they
Yeah.
brush you off, it's the wrong doctor.
Yeah.
And we
Yep.
get to the bottom of what's going on. I have so
Mhm.
many women who have the same story of they were pregnant or they had a newborn and it's just a milk duct. It's just a lump.
Yeah.
It's just, and it turns out it wasn't.
Mhm.
So go in and have a mammogram, have an
Mhm.
ultrasound,
Mhm.
really get to the bottom of what's going on. And some women don't want to go because they're scared of what they will find out.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
I was one of
And
those.
I was
yeah,
too.
Mhm.
I was too. I didn't go in
mhm.
for 8 months.
Yeah, but what is that going to do? Push it further down the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Really be your best advocate because no one else is going to be any better than you are. You really have to be your best advocate.
And
Mhm.
feel your own body and
Mm-hmm.
feel your normal of what that means and start
Yeah.
early. It doesn't have to be when you're 40 to do your self exams.
Right.
After all the surgeries I've gone through, everything has changed. So I
Yeah.
have to understand what my body feels like now. So then I know if something is off, I can go in and I can categorize it better. Or I can tell a doctor better about it. Be like, okay, well, it used to be like this and now it's like this.
Mhm.
And
And
really,
so
I mean, you
just
said wait until you're 40 for self exams. I really feel like young women in their 20s start getting to know your body
yeah, yep,
Yes.
because it, for many reasons, you should
Yeah.
you should know yourself. And so you can be on top of anything that might change. And as
Yeah.
women, it is constantly changing
Yeah.
right,
our
right.
whole life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was lucky. I know I just said something that might have caught a few viewers off guard. I recently, have a lump and thought I had maybe because of my mom, and I didn't tell anybody, which most people know I'm pretty transparent, but I was afraid because I I'm an orphan and it's Mimi and I actually was tested over by in Chaska there, and I remember driving by my parents' home and it like all the emotions came back.
Yeah.
And when I checked in, I told the girls flying last night on our test of the show, I said the first thing the gal asked me was, "Who's your caregiver?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Caregiver?" Like, I said, "Are you for hire?" Because I'm hoping I'm the one of the, and I got good news. But still just going through that, it brought back all the emotions of me being a caregiver for 12 years with my mom. My mom had the metastatic cancer for 12 years and 2 months, and she took chemo every single day until her last breath. And then when she stopped, we knew then we were going to lose her. And one of the things, she was somebody who did so well for so long that people would ask her, "What do your oncologists say?" And she was one who could say, "I outlived 2 of them, and the 3rd one
Mm.
retired. I'm on my 4th one."
Wow.
And she would actually even say it a little more crass than that, which she was a very polished lady. "Well, they're dead." "I don't know." "They're dead."
Yeah.
She
Don't-
was a very polished lady. I don't think I
Yeah.
ever saw her without lipstick and her hair done. Mm-hmm.
Even when she took her last breath in home hospice, I did made sure she had her makeup
Oh,
and batteries in her hearing aids, because you're right, she always
mhm.
wanted
Yeah.
everything perfect.
Yeah.
Yep. But,
Aw.
so Jackie, from your diagnosis and everything, what made you say, because of kind of what you were saying, that's why you started Vernicure?
Mhm. Yeah, because it's just a lack of funding.
Yeah.
And if there's, so I'm just out there looking for money all the time.
Yeah.
There is so much money to be found. And so I kind of joke, like, I do love sharing stuff on Instagram and Facebook. We're
I
both
love
pageant girls, Carla. We don't mind the spotlight, right?
That's actually how I met Jackie, was in the Miss
Yes.
America program. Yeah.
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 Yep.
But honestly, now I have found that when people learn about breast cancer, about metastatic breast cancer in particular, they're like, well, it doesn't make any sense. Why aren't we funding this more
Yeah.
fully? So now it's about building this audience so I can tell as many people as possible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Vernicure is therapy for me. It gives me something to keep my hands busy. The reason Amy and I have had so many events is because we don't sit still well.
No, you don't.
No, and so
And we are both idea people. So we just,
yes, I had lots of ideas.
when
Big
Jackie
ideas.
says, do you want to do this? And be like, yes, I do.
Yeah. My right hand lady Lisa is always like, she's details, and she's like, okay, can you like, let's take a breath for a second here. How are we gonna, details. So yeah, Verandicare exists so we can actually cure breast cancer for everyone. And it's a big, bold statement, but if you want to have something done, if you want something done right, do it yourself. So
Exactly.
Ask Jackie and Amy, and they'll get it done.
Yep. And have a bunch of women help you.
yes. Yeah.
Well, you've mentioned this a few times, but what is the 1 in 8 documentary? It was, I know both this Emerge and that were promoted across lots of local media, and you're going to be even more, but this was cool. If you wouldn't mind sharing
cool.
what it is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had an idea.
Of course.
Okay, so Super Bowl happens, and I'm like, Amy, did you see that commercial? And it was a commercial about breast cancer for a pharmaceutical company. We both agreed that they missed the mark, that it could have, $16 million spent on that commercial that was supposed to be, encouraging women to be be on top of their health. We both thought it was, tragic. And so we decided to make our own.
Yeah.
And it turned into a full-fledged documentary.
I told Jackie, I was like, what if we made like a bigger commercial? What if we made like a full-blown commercial?
Yeah.
And so I asked if she wanted to go to lunch. And so we met at Pink Ivy in Hopkins. And I just said, well, what if we do like a long form commercial where we talk about different women and their stories and things like that. And I had a social media friend that said she would help us. My friend's boyfriend did cinematography. So she's like, I'm offering up his services to do. And so we had this little crew of a producer, a director, a cinematographer, social media, and then Jackie and I. And we just ran with it. We met at my house for like an hour and a half, probably. Yeah. And at the end, we had a feature documentary film on the books. And we're going, okay, so it's March. Let's take, like 6 weeks to plan filming day. And so we gathered 10 women, all different diagnoses, all different ethnicities, because depending on your race is how breast cancer, everything is different for breast cancer. And so we wanted to have a good representation of all the different forms of breast cancer. And we also had Brittany, who is a previvor, which if you have the BRCA mutation, your lifetime risk of breast cancer is 80%. And so she has the BRCA mutation that she found in a very roundabout, very endearing way, actually, of how she found out. Wow. And she's like, no, I don't belong in this group of women. And I was like, yes, you do. Your story is important too. Yeah. And through her sharing her story of how she had the BRCA mutation, then she had a double mastectomy, and then also it causes ovarian cancer. So they just, all these other things. So people will have prophylactic procedures to prevent the cancer from even coming. And through the documentary and through the screening that we had in Hopkins, a dear friend of mine, she goes, I had no idea. My mom's breast cancer came back 3 times. Yeah. And she goes, we did it. And it was 15 or 20 years ago. So obviously the genetic testing at that point was very different than it is today. Yeah. And so she called her mom and she said, do you know what, like if you have a genetic mutation? And she looked it up. Next day she called her back and she said, yeah, I have BRCA. Oh my gosh. And so then that allowed her to get tested, her sister to get tested, and now they can go to a high-risk cancer center and get pre-screening. Oh, and so,
thank goodness.
And all these reactions from people coming to the documentary was immediate. I went home and I did my self-check. I scheduled my mammogram. I figured out my mom has the BRCA mutation and now I can get tested. And so and we sold out the theater. It was like 700 people in that theater.
We should have charged more.
I know.
Well, and that's when Amy reached out to
Megan.
me, not realizing I
Yep.
knew Jackie. And of course, I do a lot of emceeing for lots of galas and events. So as you guys come up with these ideas, I know you've got a lot of wonderful people on your team, but if you ever need someone, I will always
Absolutely.
help you out. And of course,
Mhm.
here. And so in addition to that idea, I'm guessing this was one of your ideas too. Save the tatas, treat the mamas. What's that?
Yeah, that was Jenna's idea.
Thanks, Jenna.
Because we wanted to do a Mother's Day event, but not on Mother's Day, because we are mothers and we wanted to do what we want on Mother's Day, which for me was chosen for me by my daughter in her volleyball tournament. So we will
Awesome.
be in Rochester for Mother's Day.
Good. Speaking of which, that's why I'm so proud of all you are both doing and everybody you're attached to, because the money raised is so important. It is life changing. It goes where you'll see these different events for breast cancer, and it may go to some of it to help in a certain area or a cause, but it's not going to research to help stop it or to cure it or to make sure none of us get this awful disease.
Right, exactly. And so we wanted to create an event for moms with a very little barrier to entry. And it's more of kind of a ladies' night out. So we have, but we also have a self-check station. So you can learn how to do a self-check. And we have a mini bouquet bar where you can go home with a little mini flower bouquet. We have a mocktail station. We have Prosecco. We have bites. We have 11 local vendors that are coming to sell their things. And the dress code is sweats, whatever you want to wear. You don't have to, zippers not allowed or not needed. I don't know. And just a way to connect with other women and have an amazing night. I've just learned so much from connecting with other women like this, that it's so needed and it's so good for your soul, and supporting each other wherever we are, and
you will leave
friends.
feeling
I'm excited.
Yeah, you'll leave with a full heart. I mean, anything we do, I think that's how people leave.
Wow. And $1 million question, cancer diagnoses of not even breast cancer, everything are up, and young kids. Why?
Right. And
My dad's a retired farmer, and he'll say Roundup on everything.
My mom used it.
Yes, he put Roundup on everything. So who knows? There's not one answer. I think that is the key. There is not one answer. There's environmental factors. There's genetic mutations that we don't know about yet. Yes, there's so many. The world is changing, and that's why it's hard to cure and it's hard to find treatments. We're all different. I could have a twin sister who lives the same life as me, and one of us would get cancer and one of us wouldn't. So there isn't one answer. There isn't one answer. Unfortunately.
And the thing I would say for cancer patients is, especially breast cancer, it's not to blame yourself.
Yes, it's not your fault.
Not what?
It's not your fault.
You didn't do anything.
No.
It's just really crappy luck.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it is. I have dog hair.
But when you're going through everything, it's so easy to say that. It's so easy. I wish I ate healthier. I wish I didn't drink that or didn't whatever, or I exercised more. But as Jackie shows, she was a healthy lady eating kale chips all day.
It was my mom. She would everything was vegetables and fruits, which I know is sugar, but mostly vegetables. And she took good care of herself. She was active, and I'm like, same with a dear friend who just got brain cancer, and it's not treatable or surgery is possible. And she was the epitome. Every time she did her videos online, she was on a walk, and she's a great cook and healthy. And so I thought she was just retiring. You just don't know, and devastating, and why, and what can we do? And you both are doing it.
We're trying.
Supporting each other.
Yeah. I know we've covered a lot and jumped around a little bit. And of course, Emerge is next week on the 23rd at the Hutton House. Doors open at 6:00. Easy parking, great vendors, you guys. And thanks to Ashley Elwell, photography, and Profeshi for the photos again. And I'll add them, but all of the vendors are listed above this. Runway show starts at 9:30. They can
7:30.
7:30. Oh yeah, 7:30. Excuse me. I knew that.
We're old.
Yeah.
We're too old for a 9:30
We're too
start for
old. We want
anything.
to be in bed by 9:30.
I understand. I'm older than you. What else haven't we talked about, or do you think that people need to know?
The Mama event is on the 28th.
Okay, Mama event is on the 28th.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of people, Jackie, are confused as to what metastatic cancer is.
Yeah.
And when they
Yeah.
see someone like you, they
Oh,
think, oh, she's
yeah,
cured.
she's good.
She's
Yeah.
cancer
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
She's in remission.
Well,
No.
and Amy and I were talking about this the other day, how she's the one without hair and looks like she's going through treatment, and I look like I'm fine, but I'm walking around with my incurable disease.
Right.
Yep. So metastatic breast cancer, my cancer started in my breast, and when it leaves the original tumor through your blood or your lymph system and travels to a distant site, your brain, your liver, your lungs, your bones, is typically where breast cancer goes. It's still breast cancer, but it has found a new home in that spot. And that's when it becomes incurable. It is treatable, obviously, but that's when it can no longer be cured. And um, part of the trouble, or the challenge with it, is we don't know why cancer metastasizes, how it lives outside that original tumor. And then Amy and I do have the same subtype, but there are many different combinations of subtypes.
Yeah.
And some are more aggressive, harder to treat than others. And so, so when you hear that someone's breast cancer has come back, it could be a second primary cancer. Doesn't mean it's metastatic, or it is metastatic and it has started to grow somewhere else. And so I think that metastatic breast cancer doesn't get talked about a lot because it is hard to talk about.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it is a really hard, it's a hard topic for many reasons. And
one of the women that was with us in the documentary, when she originally, I don't know if she found a lump or something like that, or if she felt, but she went in to check it out, and they found 21 tumors, and they were everywhere.
Wow.
And so and that's why it's so scary, and that's why it's so hard, is she felt fine,
Yeah.
And working in the medical field, that was probably one of the hardest things, is getting to know my patients and then having something tragic happen to them.
Mhm.
We got
And
close to our medical team. I
Yeah,
mean, some of the
yeah.
one of the nurses lived in our block, and some of the others I'm still connected to. And even on my mom's birthday during COVID, we had just had chemo, came home, and they all drove by and honked and
Oh,
said happy birthday. I mean, they were just
yeah,
sweethearts. And same thing though. You just,
yeah,
it was hard for mom. It was like the elephant in the room.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Mhm.
and
Yeah, it's because we don't want, like if we've said before, we don't want pity. We
right,
want acknowledgement.
right.
And you don't want to scare people from
Yeah.
getting tested or going in
Mhm.
and making sure if something feels off, that they get it figured out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that's a hard thing too, is either you don't care and you're just like, oh, I'll just go in and everything will be fine. And then, but you can go in and be thrown a curveball that you had no idea was coming.
Mhm.
Yes, and I was prepared for that when I was there. You were talking about how the look, like people, what they think
Yeah.
of you versus when the very last time I took my parents out, it was Valentine's Day. It was very cold. It was the day after because they both had chemo together on Valentine's Day in
Oh.
2020. And we went to the River Inn in Hanover, which is, a little bit more casual, but it was so cold. My mom wore her fur coat. And as she said, and my mom looked beautiful,
Yes.
and she didn't have hair at that time, but I think she had her wig on. And so she looked great. And my dad too. My dad was going through metastatic lung, lymph node, and brain cancer. So I had them sit on this they didn't have there was always a wait, even though we were there at 4:30, and I had them sit on a bench, and in walks this probably 90-some-year-old lady. And I said, ma'am, I will go get you a chair so you can sit. I said, I know they look good, but they have cancer. And my dad looks at me and he goes, Carla, all they have to do is look at us and they know. And I go, that's the problem. You both look great. And you look like you're being a jerk to this lady. And they're like, they didn't believe me because they didn't feel good.
Yeah.
But they looked
And whenever I get sick, whether it was a flu or whatever, I never looked sick. And so it was kind of nice losing my hair to be like, hey, I am obviously sick.
Yeah.
But now it doesn't feel that great anymore to look sick and not feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not just hair, everybody.
Yeah, it's not just hair.
Right.
And even though I wore my hair in a ponytail probably almost every day because I worked in the medical field and then I worked in a restaurant I owned a cupcake shop for 14 years. I always had my hair back in a ponytail, and
she wanted to say
still
hi.
not the same.
Like, Mom,
Mom. You wanted to say hi because it's been an hour?
Mom, come cuddle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she loves you so much.
She does. Yeah. And when she was a baby and she was 3 weeks old and they let us see her because her eyes had just opened because the dog we went to see wasn't going to be a fit and they knew my mom's health. So first thing she did when I picked her up was do exactly what she did. And she does that every morning. And
my gosh.
Meant to be for sure.
The other thing she did is at night, she would start sleeping with grandma and grandpa, and she would switch back and forth and lay right where their cancer was. Now, mom had it from the base of her neck to her knees. So she would kind of lean into her back or her body and snuggle. And dad, of course, had brain and lungs. So she'd lay by the head and just crazy. And then about 2 to 4 a.m., she'd come downstairs when they were sleeping and want to sleep with me. I mean, they say dogs don't know. They know.
They know.
Yes, they do. Yeah. So what else haven't we covered? Or would you like to share? We've been on a while, but I just want to make sure we could talk, I think, the three of us for hours.
I was just going to say that we could be here. If we ever need to do like a 24-hour telethon or something, this could be perfect.
I think that's the next step, Jackie, is we do a telethon with all the phones.
Yes. That would be
I'll get a text from Lisa. Don't you dare.
And Jenna will be like, yes, do it.
Yeah, you get a Lisa.
Yeah,
Poor
you
Lisa.
too. What do they say? The ones who are the busiest, both of you married families, you're fighting the cancer, are the ones who get the most done.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
I think know how to compartmentalize.
Yes, I'm good at that.
Yep.
I can only imagine. Yeah. It's something that, they say men are good at, but I think women with cancer and challenges like you both have been through become good at it as well.
You have to. Yeah. You can't carry all that all the time.
Right.
Yeah. And what is the best way for those watching if they can't attend next Thursday on the 23rd from 6 to 9, but they want to support? They can buy a ticket that you would give to somebody else, or they can do what?
I mean, you can donate. I mean, donate to, we have links online. You can donate. From the sounds of it, there's always an event you can attend.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just stay tuned. Like, tune into what we're doing. Tell a friend about what we are doing. Like I said, the bigger this audience is, the more impact we can make. So truly, follow along, pay attention to what we are doing, share this with someone else.
Come to our events, listen to the podcast.
Yes, be an active participant in trying to help our missions.
It'll be worth it. I promise.
Yes.
And your presence and or donation directly supports life-changing breast cancer research and the continued advocacy for women navigating both diagnosis, treatment, and recovery. That's huge. I know I have said it to many people, what can I do to help? Yes, you can do food or the food chains and donations, but this donation to these organizations, to the links above, and they're in Vernicure.org, Pink Power Hour. I also did the Give Butter one that goes directly to this event next week. You donate, it's all going towards the research.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't take salaries with our foundations or anything like that. And all of our people are volunteers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is, I will say that is rare in organizations like ours. There's usually some C-level people who are getting paid a lot of money,
Yep.
and we're not.
We're doing it because we love it and because it
Yes,
matters.
we honestly want change.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want
Right.
help.
Well, and a lot of times these galas and bigger events, the money, sometimes it's even less than 10% that actually
Yeah.
goes
Yes.
towards
Right.
something like this. It's to
Right.
the administration. And yes,
Mhm.
and they're all doing important things, but the only way
Yeah.
we're going to cure or help move in the right direction is research.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's what you're sending it to, and their connections and their partnership with the University of Minnesota. I mean, it's not like, oh, we're just going to give this to someone and they say they're going to do research. They're
Right.
doing it.
Right.
Mhm. And anytime someone wants a tour, they are welcome. We can always
They
go
are
down there. They'll
so wonderful.
show you what we're doing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would sometime. Yeah, that would
Oh,
be
yeah.
Carla, that would be
great.
great. We should do that.
If you want to go be
Yeah.
a pipette nerd, you can go play with their little tools.
Oh, I would love that. Yeah.
It's really cool to see. And
Yeah.
their passion in the lab is
Mhm.
infectious. It's so
Yep.
cool to hear them talk about
So,
it and
yeah. So if
all
someone
the
tells
different
you that,
projects that they're working on.
Mhm.
It's truly
Yeah, if they
incredible. And
say they have the,
pediatric cancers
yep,
and just
yep.
everything. Yeah.
If people say that they have the cure for cancer and they're just not giving it to us, go down to the research lab and meet
Yeah.
these real life people who are dedicating
Yeah.
their life's work to finding these cures.
Right.
People are actually trying to do that. They're not hiding it from us. So
Right.
No.
Right.
And
They're
the
trying. They're really
chemotherapy
trying.
did keep my mother alive. I've
Mhm.
watched it.
Yep.
And as soon
Yeah.
as her body started getting worn out because of her MS, after my
Yes.
dad passed, that's when chemo wasn't an option anymore. I mean, I literally had to lay in bed and roll her over because that's what chemo was doing to her at that point. And it's like,
Yeah.
and there was a few times where I would say I'd get her up and she'd be in a chair from 10 a.m. to like 5 p.m. And then I'd put her to bed and I'd say, is this quality of life? And she's like,
Yeah.
I'm great.
Right.
And I was like,
Let me
well,
put my
then,
lipstick on
Yes,
and I'm
Cindy.
great.
yep. And when we'd walk into the oncologist, how are you doing today, Sandy? And they put their hand on her knee. I'm great. How are you?
Mm.
We're such good liars, aren't we?
Right. Right. And I was like, I'm sure they would look over at me like, yeah. So,
Proud
and,
lady. Mhm.
Yeah.
yep. And you know what? If she was great, I had to be.
Yeah.
Yep. And same with my dad. Oh,
Mm.
gosh. Have we
Aw.
covered everything you were wishing for tonight?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you
we'll
so
have-
much,
Good night.
Carla. You're
Yeah.
truly a gem. I just love
Yes.
chatting with you.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm glad the two of you have connected because really,
Yeah.
two of the best. Mhm.
well, right back at both of you. And in fact, offline, when I had my little scare, I had said to both these two, I don't know what I would have done, and it could happen, 1 in 8,
Yeah.
it could still happen. And they both, without hesitation, said, well, we would take care of you.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, it's
Yep.
mhm.
That's what
And
we're
I-
here for.
It just, it just gives you a sense of peace. So for those of you out there, if 1 in 8 will go through some sort of diagnosis, we are here for you.
Mhm.
And these organizations are here for you.
Yes.
Reach out for support. And just
Absolutely.
again, grateful. Attend the event next Thursday.
Please.
Yeah. Come
Hutton
see our
House.
fashion show.
Medicine Lake, easy parking, safe area, not all night. It's
Yeah.
6 to 9, great vendors. Come for some light hors d'oeuvres and sips. And the show begins at 7:30 and you'll be done and home probably by 9:15, 9:30.
Yep.
Yes.
And we have a few fun surprises for you. So
Yes, we do.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you both. And we'll have you back on for other events in the future.
awesome.
Sounds
Thank you
great.
so much.
Oh, you are so welcome. And I might have 2 shows next week talking about 2 very important topics, but stay tuned for that. We'll be promoting by the weekend for those shows. And then the week after, we're going to celebrate Around Town TV's birthday. We started, hit the airwaves April 28th of 2003. And here we are. All these years later, we started our 24th year on air in January, and we're going to celebrate it with cake and some fun things. So tune in for that. And I just appreciate we've had a good audience on all night. Thank you for tuning in. And I will see you back right here next week on Around Town TV. We'll see you then. Thank you. Bye-bye. I'll end it. And then I'll end the stream.